again everybody, welcome back to Bumble Stitches Twixtmas. My name's Nicola if you don't know, and today is Thursday the 29th of, I think it's the 29th, no it's actually the 30th of December. We are well and truly in the Twixtmas period. I'm sure lots of us are not really quite sure what day of the week it is, what date it is, and it's that sort of dreamy in-between time where hopefully you've had some time just to relax and do the things you like to do. I didn't make it for a video yesterday, unfortunately. I had grocery shopping to do, which is a bit dull, isn't it? And by the time I did that and came home and I cooked meatballs and pasta for tea, and just the day ran away with me, so I do apologise for that. But thank you all for your lovely comments on the video the previous day when I was baking in the kitchen. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. It was eventful with those gingerbread houses, but I think they turned out all right in the end. The theme is continuing today with gingerbread. What I'm going to do today is I have got in this project bag here, I hope the light's all right, it's a little bit later in the day. I've got a little project that I finished just before Christmas and didn't get a chance to fully finish. So I thought it'd be quite nice to do that with you today. I'll show you what I've got. It was the freebie Christmas pattern from Paola at Puntini, the lovely little gingerbread tart. And I've decided to finish mine the same. So what I have in here is still on the hoop, and that's my little finish. And I stitched this on a 36 count Weeks Dye Works linen in beige. So it's all done. I need to take it off the hoop, as you can see. And this will obviously free up the project bag once I'm done. Let's move that to one side. And when I move the camera down onto the desk so you can see what I'm doing, you just have to excuse the general sort of crafty mess around. It's just real life. So I've got, for finishing today, I've got a little tiny tart tin. It's the loose bottom kind that I bought on eBay, I think it was. I just bought one, I didn't need any more than that. I've got some batting, just a little scrap of quilt batting that I'm going to use just to pad it out a little bit. I've got various trims. I've got some creamy sort of twill here, some nice beige satin ribbon, and a couple of other trims here, a lace, and this is another sort of tape type, because as you can see on the picture, Paola's finished hers with the ribbon here, and it kind of looks like a pie crust. I think it's really, really cute, so I'm going to try and get mine to look as pretty as hers. I've also got a few bits and pieces, a little bit of card that I saved, which is packaging from some Christmas presents. You can see I've already drawn a circle on there. I used just a pencil and compass, but I realised after I'd messed about doing that all I really needed to do was pop the loose bit out of the bottom of the tin and draw around it, because after measuring with the compass I ended up with a circle only fractionally bigger than this, so that's absolutely fine. I've also got my my glue gun in here. This is one that I didn't buy it, Justin bought it for me on Amazon. So it's a really nice little glue gun set, not very expensive, but lots of glue sticks in there, and I really like the way this one stores away. Other basic items, I've got some scissors, not fabric scissors obviously because I'm going to be cutting some card out, and some sewing thread, and yeah, that's about it. So what I'm going to do now is twizzle the camera around so that you can see what I'm doing, and we'll get this little tart finished off. I've taken the piece out of the hoop now, ready. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to use as a template. I'm going to cut this round. I've seen a couple of tutorials online. I think Vonna, Pfeiffer of the Twisted Stitcher, I think that's Vonna's channel name, has some really good round ornament finish tutorials on her channel. And there's also a nice photograph, which I will try and pop in here, that Paola put on her Instagram, just of how she finished off hers. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is just cut this little piece of card. As I said, this is just nothing fancy. You could use mount board or something a little bit more robust, but I think it's going to be absolutely fine for this. As I said, don't use your good fabric scissors. It's a little bit flimsy because it's corrugated card, but I think we can work something out with this. Okay, so that should just fit in there quite nicely, and by the time the fabric goes around, that'll add a little bit of bulk, but I think it's going to be quite snug because if you can see, the stitched piece is ever so slightly bigger, so I think they're going to sort of curve round a bit, but I'm going to put quite a few layers of batting and I'm sure it will be fine. So the next thing I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to just use pretty much the outline of the hoop, maybe a little bit smaller. In actual fact, I'm just wondering if I can find something circular that I can draw around that's not quite as big as that. Hold it right there. I've just grabbed this little, this is the inside piece of a little plastic hoop, so I think I'm going to use that just as a template, and then I'm going to grab a pen. I've got a friction pen here, but I'm not sure. Oh, that would be absolutely fine. Okay, because this won't be seen. So I'm just going to draw around, as long as I can see where to cut the fabric roughly. It will be absolutely fine. Yep, that works perfectly. Pop that to one side. Okay. I've got some fabric scissors now, and I'm just going to cut off the excess. There isn't enough of this linen to save for anything else, I don't think, but you never know, so we will save that. And then I'm just going to cut round this piece here now. Okay, so now I've got my piece cut out, get rid of the excess, and this doesn't really have to be exact because it's going to be, this is just the raw edge that's going to be underneath here. And I'm guessing really if you wanted to, you could just use this little section here from the tart tin if you're using a loose base one rather than the card. But I'm going to stick with the card. Now the next thing I want to do is cut out some little bits of batting. And this is why it's always a good idea to save all those little tiny scraps. So where's that pen gone again, which I just put away? And again, this doesn't have to be anything astonishingly accurate. I'm just going to cut this batting. Okay, so that's one small layer. And then I'm going to cut some smaller circles. Again, these don't have to be super accurate. I'm just going to take a little chunk off here. I just want to build up a few little layers. Okay, so we've now got two of the larger pieces and the small ones, and I think that's going to give us a nice puffy sort of tart. I didn't want it to be lost sitting in the bottom, so I think that's going to work nicely now. Okay, the next job will be to centre the design. Pop that all on there like that. I'm just going to try and get an idea of how it's going to look. So you can see it's nice. It's a nice little fat gingerbread tart now, and I think it looks much nicer with that extra bit of the batting in there. Okay, the next thing I want to do is take a needle and thread, and I'm going to do a running stitch all the way around here so that I can pop it over this little pile of batting and card, and then we're going to draw it in like a drawstring at the back. I'm just using some sewing thread that I have on my table. And unfortunately I have got the tiniest needle in the world here, which I'm going to attempt to do this with. It's probably much easier if you had a bigger needle, but it will be absolutely fine, I'm sure. And because this obviously is linen and I've only just cut it with a straight edge, it will fray. So I'm going to go quite a bit in because we've got quite a lot of excess here. In fact, I might need to trim a little bit off, but we will start. I'm just going to budge over a little tiny bit just so that you can see. Okay, so again, as I said, just a little running stitch all the way around. Okay, I'm just coming up to where I started, and again, as I said, this doesn't have to be anything other than just rough stitches. It's just to enable you to draw this in and create the circle shape. Okay, so I've left the tails quite long so I've got something to grab hold of, and the next thing I'm going to do is just turn it over that way so I can see how I'm centering. Pop down this little sandwich, and then I'm going to pull these threads in to gather in the tart, a little gingerbread tart. And as you can see, I have got quite a lot of excess here, so I probably should have trimmed that down, but you can see how this when you do this, how it pulls everything in nice and tightly. But I could definitely have done with trimming quite a lot of that off, but you can see what we're going for and how that's going to work out. So what I'm going to do, because I can see there's way too much excess, I'm just going to take it off because I haven't tied anything off, and I'm going to just trim some of this excess off with my scissors, taking care not to cut the tails off. I always think it's best to just have too much to start with and then trim down, rather than not enough fabric to start with. Okay, let's just try that again. Pop the pie filling in and give those a nice little tug. Yeah, that's much better. You can see it's going to sit much flatter. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I mean, their feet are just about going off. You can give it a little bit of a wiggle while it's like this, and then I'm going to tie these off really tightly. This is when it all gets a bit fiddly, isn't it? I'll probably do with an extra finger here right now, but we will make the best of it. Just grab that through there. Definitely could do with an extra finger. It's not quite as tight as it could be. There we go, that's fine. Tie it off again, and I'll just snip these loose threads off. Okay, so we are making progress. So how simple was that? And it's starting to look really, really cute. Obviously it needs to be fixed into the bottom, and we need to think about the trim. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fire up the hot glue gun, and I'm going to fix this metal bottom in so that it stays put. I did consider just leaving it out, but that would make the back really messy. So I'm going to hot glue that in, and then I'm going to choose some trim, and we'll get the trim in. Again, I'm going to use hot glue for this. It really doesn't matter. It's just a little ornament. And then finally, once I've got this ruffle in, the pie crust, then I will hot glue this in and it will be complete. While the glue gun's warming up, I thought we'd have a little look at these trims that I've selected. This one is a sort of twill tape. I really like the colour of it. And I thought it'd make quite a nice sort of crust, but it might be a little bit too thick. So I think it might be a little bit too, just a bit too heavy duty for this kind of look. So I've ruled that one out. The next one is the satin, which again could work. But I'm not 100% sure on that one. This one is like a lace. I think that might look really pretty actually. Let's just have a little, let's just try a little bit of that in and see how it works. It's all trial and error, isn't it, to see what, I think that looks really cute actually. And this one's just another, it's not the same twill tape as the other one. That's more like a webbing. It's more, it is a ribbon, but it's like a linen ribbon. But I don't think that's quite what I'm looking for, because this is, after all, a very special gingerbread tart. So I think I'm going to go with this lace trim here, and this is just a little cheapy one that I got. It's 100% cotton. It's just one from Hobbycraft, but I'm sure you can find this sort of thing anywhere, can't you? Okay, so that's the trim we're going to use. I think the glue gun is ready because it's starting to do some nice little drips. So I'm just going to put a few spots in here. Just to get that metal piece fixed down so that everything doesn't move about once we've finished. And of course with the glue guns you always get the stringy bits. I'm just going to pop that in while it's still warm. I'm sure quite a lot of that's probably, no, it's not too bad. It hasn't all popped out. It's sometimes easy to get those stringy bits off when it's completely cool, isn't it? Okay, so that's fixed in. We have this little section. So it's really a question of getting this trim in. And I've thought about, I want to get this pie crust effect. And I did think, should I sew it first and then put it in? And I thought, oh, well, I need this to be just a nice, quick little finish. So I thought I would just use the glue gun and just pop the glue in and fold as I go round. So that's how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to get a little bit on here first and get that into the tin. And I'll come back to the end and cover that little raggedy edge up. So I'm just going to go all the way around the tin, and I'll stop talking and speed this up a bit so that you don't have to watch it in real time. Okay, so I've gone all the way around the edge. It's not completely even all the way around, but as I said, it's I think it will still look really cute. I'm going to just take off some of these little strands of glue while I'm here and just try that for size. Oops, still got all the glue on me. Just going to try that for size in there. If the trim had been a little bit taller, I do think it looks like quite a cute little tart. So now I need to pop it out again so that I can fix it in with some glue. Let's just get something to pop that out with. Here we go. I'm just going to liberally hot glue in the bottom here so it has plenty to anchor itself to. Make sure I don't get the ruffles all caught up. Give that a little push so it's firmly down in the tin. And how quick and easy was that to do? I'm really pleased with it. It looks quite cute from the side. It looks like a little sort of patisserie tart. And of course, Paola's design is beautiful. So I hope you enjoyed seeing that, seeing me just do that quick little finish. Really simple, minimal of sewing, good old hot glue gun. And although it's a little bit late for this year, I'm glad this is finished now. It can sit on the tiered tray, and when the decorations go away, it can go away with them, and it's all ready to go for next year. Well, I'll be back with you tomorrow with some more sewing and planning. And until then, have fun and take care.